Welcome to another episode of Barbie Saturdays, and the next part of Barbie Month with Barbie Fairytopia, Mermaidia. You might be thinking to yourself, wait a second, isn't this a sequel movie? Isn't there just a Barbie Fairytopia? And you would be correct. There is indeed a Barbie Fairytopia movie. Unfortunately, I don't own a copy of it. You might be thinking, wait, someone donated this and the third movie, and they didn't donate the first one? Well, they did. But that movie was so scratched up that I figured it would not play. Like, I had just a couple scratches in my copy of Barbie and the Nutcracker, and it was enough to mess up the opening intro song and the credits when they're doing that. They're doing the opening credits, and they have these fairies dancing, and it just would hang every now and again and would annoy the crap out of me in the process, because it'd be like playing like normal, then hang for a little bit, then playing like normal, then hang again, just doing that repeatedly. Just quickly kicking under my skin, because it's just annoying. It's like, can you just please play the disc like it's not damaged, or not that badly damaged, because it didn't look that bad. But apparently looks can be deceiving sometimes. So yeah, I looked at the Fairytopia movie, and it was just really scratched up from being used a lot, so I figured, it's just not going to play correctly, and passed on it. Because if I'm going to be spending $1, I don't want to spend it on something, I can't get a refund on. I mean, at best, they may let me pick another movie out if I brought it back and explain the problem, and that would be hoping, because Goodwill's not very good about refunds usually, so yeah. That's why I don't own a copy of the first film. Thankfully, this film actually starts out by explaining the plot of the first film. So, even if you didn't watch the first movie, you can jump into this one and get an overview of the first movie to know where, the villain's at and, where they want to go. So, it helps establish things well enough that, you'll be fine. As far as this movie itself goes, if you just want a really quick opinion, I suppose, like super quick, it's not as good as the Magic of Pegasus, but it's better than Barbie and the Secret Door. It's in the middle of those two. I mean, the main reason why it's not as good as Magic of Pegasus is because Max is not a very good villain. He's the head villain, and he's more a comic relief head villain, because he's not particularly bright. He's brighter than the other mold minions, but that's not saying much. He's basically smart enough to know how to open a door by reaching out and turning the handle, while the other mold minions would basically slam into the door repeatedly, like trying to figure out how to get through it, like a lemming. So, yeah, a dumb, unimpressive villain, has to carry the villain weight in this film, and it hurts it, in my opinion. I mean, I realize Laverna's the true main villain, but since she's basically only going to exist in this movie in the form of video phone calls to Max telling him, you need to hurry up and get that berry that will restore my powers and whatnot, there's not much going for her to work with this film, unfortunately. So all the main villain weight has to be carried by a comic relief character, which is a terrible idea. Thankfully, this film does counter the bad villain issues by having some interesting dynamics with the heroines, because Alina the fairy and Nori the mermaid really butt heads at first, because Nori assumes, that Prince Nala's really into Alina, and she's jealous because she wants to be his main squeeze. And Alina's like, no, he's into you, Nori. And eventually they work out their issues, because they have to team up to save the day. So at least we have interesting, dynamics going on there. We have to learn to trust and rely on each other. So that was good. But the villain for this movie is just really weak. And the fact he gets outwitted rather easily by Alina and Nori does not help matters for him. Because they just basically take a berry that's not the berry that will restore Laverna's powers and just make it look like it, and then let him steal it back, and just, let him get away with it, and then start, laughing about it a little bit. So, yeah, bad villains just kill movies for me sometimes. But that's basically all I have to say about this film, It's not a bad experience, I suppose, to watch, but It's definitely not one of the best Barbie movies out there. Till next time, then. See ya.
Father to the Betty. We're almost there. Just make a left at this coral.
Make a left. Lefting. Leftaroo.